Hey there, night dwellers. Join the Phantom Troupe for a serene escape into dreamland with enchanting sleep stories. Let the calming tales transport you to a world of peaceful slumber and restful nights.
In the picturesque landscapes of 19th century Germany, nestled among rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a man of mystery and music named Peregrinus Tyß. Known to many as Pereg, he was a wandering minstrel whose violin sang of the wonders and woes of the world. His tale, one of adventure and introspection, weaves through the fabric of time like the delicate strands of a melody. Pereg's story begins in a quaint village on the outskirts of the Black Forest. Born to humble beginnings, he discovered his love for music at a young age. The son of a woodcutter, he spent his days wandering the woods, listening to the rustle of leaves and the songs of birds. It was amidst these natural symphonies that Pereg found solace and inspiration, and it was here that he first picked up a violin and felt the stirrings of his soul. As Pereg grew older, his talent for music blossomed like the petals of a flower in spring. He spent hours practicing his craft, honing his skills until his music resonated with the beauty and complexity of the world around him. But despite his talent, Pereg remained an enigma to those around him. He was a solitary figure, drifting like a leaf on the wind, his only companions the whispering trees and the stars that watched over him from above. One fateful day, as Pereg roamed the countryside with his violin in hand, he stumbled upon a grand estate nestled in a secluded valley. Intrigued by the sight, he approached the imposing gates and was met by a servant who informed him that the estate belonged to the wealthy Count von Hohenfels. The servant, impressed by Pereg's musical prowess, invited him inside to perform for the Count and his guests. Reluctantly, Pereg agreed, and as he entered the grand hall of the estate, he was greeted by the sight of opulence and extravagance beyond his wildest dreams. The Count, a stern and imposing figure, sat at the head of the room, surrounded by a retinue of nobles and dignitaries. But despite the grandeur of his surroundings, Pereg remained unfazed. With a graceful bow, he raised his violin to his chin and began to play. His music, like a river of silver flowing through the air, captivated the assembled guests and held them spellbound until the final notes faded into silence. When Pereg finished playing, there was a moment of stunned silence, followed by thunderous applause and cries of admiration. The Count, impressed by Pereg's performance, offered him a position as the estate's resident musician, promising him wealth and luxury beyond his wildest dreams. But Pereg, true to his nature, refused the Count's offer, preferring instead to wander the countryside and follow the call of his heart. And so, with a grateful smile and a polite refusal, he bid farewell to the Count and his guests and set off once more into the unknown. As Pereg journeyed through the German countryside, his reputation as a wandering minstrel grew, and tales of his music spread far and wide. He performed in village squares and marketplaces, in taverns and inns, captivating audiences with the beauty and passion of his playing. But despite his newfound fame, Pereg remained humble and unassuming, his only desire to share his music with the world. One day, as Pereg was traveling through a dense forest, he came upon a clearing bathed in golden sunlight. In the center of the clearing stood a solitary figure, a young woman of ethereal beauty with long, flowing hair the color of spun gold. She stood motionless, her eyes closed, her face upturned to the heavens as if lost in a trance. Intrigued by the sight, Pereg approached the woman and cleared his throat softly to announce his presence. Startled, the woman opened her eyes and turned to face him, her gaze like a bolt of lightning striking his heart. And in that moment, Pereg knew that he had found the muse he had been searching for. The woman, whose name was Ilara, was a creature of the forest, a nymph who had wandered far from her woodland home in search of adventure. Drawn to Pereg's music like a moth to a flame, she had been waiting for him to arrive, knowing that their meeting was fated by the stars. Together, Pereg and Ilara roamed the countryside, their hearts entwined like the vines that covered the forest floor. They traveled through meadows and valleys, over mountains and rivers, their their laughter mingling with the songs of birds and the whispering of the wind. And as they journeyed, Pereg's music took on a new depth and intensity, fueled by the love and inspiration he found in Alara's arms. But their idyllic existence was not destined to last. One fateful night, as Pereg and Alara rested beneath the canopy of stars, a shadow fell across the forest, casting a pall of darkness over their happiness. For Alara, it seemed, was not the only inhabitant of the forest who had taken an interest in Pereg's music. As they slept, a band of goblins emerged from the depths of the forest, drawn by the sound of Pereg's violin. With gleaming eyes and sharp claws, they descended upon the sleeping couple, intent on stealing Pereg away and claiming his music for themselves. But Pereg, awakened by the sound of their approach, sprang into action, his violin clutched tightly in his hands. With a skill born of desperation, he played a melody so haunting and beautiful that it stopped the goblins in their tracks, freezing them in place like statues carved from stone. And as the last notes of his music faded into the night, the goblins turned and fled, their tails between their legs, leaving Pereg and Alara unharmed but shaken by the encounter. For they knew that their idyllic existence was but a fleeting dream, destined to be shattered by the harsh realities of the world. With heavy hearts, Pereg and Alara bid farewell to the forest that had been their home and set out once more into the unknown. And as they journeyed, they knew that their love would sustain them through whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, for they were bound together by the timeless magic of music and the enduring power of the human spirit.